A stress test can help doctors determine whether there is a blockage in your arteries, a view that can help save a patient's life. The patient here is me. Thankfully, my heart was pumping just fine. What brought me to this moment were intermittent chest pains in the summer of 2022. My doctor ordered a CT scan of my lungs, but the image found something else in my heart. This bright white spot is calcification, an indication of coronary artery disease. My heart was the last thing on my mind. I work out, and although my diet probably needed an upgrade, it wasn't terrible. I've never smoked. I have no family history of heart disease. And although the lines of time, well, they're settling in, I'm still fairly young.
If we can get to that heart rate, that's the main goal.
According to the CDC, I am among the fewer than 1% of adults under the age of 45 diagnosed with CAD. Here's what I know now. Heart disease and conditions that lead to it can happen at any age. At 40, I didn't know my numbers, and there was something else: inflammation. I've perfected covering this up, but I have spent decades masking an autoimmune condition, psoriasis. Traditionally, it has been regarded as a disease affecting only the skin and joints. More recently, studies have shown that it's a systemic inflammatory disorder.
We know that inflammation can affect the heart in multiple different mechanisms and ways. We also know that patients with these conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, lupus, they also have an increased risk of cardiovascular disease.
Though not my physician, Dr. Brittany Weber, director of the Cardio-Rheumatology Clinic at Brigham and Women's Hospital, is on the cutting edge of the autoimmune heart connection.
One of the problems about patients with inflammatory diseases is they're rare. And so when you're talking about these large outcome trials in cardiology, we don't have that. Being able to use imaging and imaging surrogates to start to address these questions within these diseases is now coming.
What doctors do have on their side are advances in technology. Imaging such as CT scans can help identify heart conditions in those considered high risk. Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death worldwide. But unlike mammograms and colonoscopies, I was surprised to learn CT imaging is not part of the routine health screening. Why?
I think we're getting to a place where we will identify people who are higher risk and then start to use these kind of technologies for active surveillance. I think cardiology is on the cusp of figuring that out.
So for now, we focus on the good news. Much of what contributes to heart disease can not only be prevented through diet, exercise, and lifestyle, but for many, like me, who live with a chronic condition, new treatments can help prevent major cardiac events.
When you're on the right therapy, we can stop that plaque from progressing. And any patients ask me, can I live past 100 visits? I say, absolutely.
Now, it is important to stress that not everyone with an autoimmune or inflammatory condition is going to have heart involvement. But if you do, you should consider it a risk factor, and most importantly, have that conversation with your doctor. In fact, everyone should check out their hearts. That's Chronicle for tonight. Wishing you all a very happy and healthy new year. I'm Nicole Estefan. Good night.